Hey everyone, welcome to Sacred Lotus Yoga. I'm Sara and I'm going to be guiding us through our core strengthening practice today. So we'll get straight into it. We're going to start off in a comfortable cross-legged seated position. Sitting up nice and tall, getting yourself ready. We're going to rest our hands so our palms are facing towards the sky, down onto our knees, and just begin to close your eyes. Just begin to bring yourself into your body and bring yourself onto your mat and into our class today. Today's class is all about strengthening the core, which will allow us to support any lower back issues and strengthens and builds on your posture. Just allow us to move through our day with a little bit more comfort, a little bit more ease. Just notice now how the breath flows. Notice each inhale and notice each exhale. Soften the knees, allowing the shoulders to drop down your back and soften any tension out of your jaw. And gently begin to blink the eyes open, bring yourself back into the room. We're going to begin by stretching the arms up and overhead, keeping the knees nice and heavy while we lengthen through the sides of the body. Bring the palms to touch and draw the arms down in front of your heart center. We'll float through that 3 times just to begin to wake up the sides of the body. Inhale, extend the arms, reaching up, maybe allow the gaze to follow, looking up, palms touch, drawing down in front of your heart center. And again, inhale, reaching up. Exhale, coming back down. Last one, inhale, reaching up, really lengthen through the sides. And exhale, flowing back down. Lovely, we're going to take it a little bit deeper now into the sides of our body. So begin to plant the left hand down onto the mat. We're going to sweep the right arm so the fingertips begin to point over towards the left. Now you can come down onto the forearm if you have enough space in the side body. But you want to make sure that the right hip is staying connected and rooted with your mat. If it's not, you can always come up a little bit onto the hand or the whole way up. All depends on how your body's made. Doesn't matter at all, just where it feels right for you today. Make sure that you're keeping a nice opening through the chest and maybe begin to look up towards the sky. Sending the breath into the right lung. Feeling that stretch, that opening through the side of the body. And we're going to begin to float over towards the opposite side, extending the arms out in front of you. Right hand comes down, left arm reaches up, look up. Notice the connection with the left hip and the mat. Noticing the chest. And we'll float through those poses 3 times. Inhale, come over to the left, reach through the fingertips, looking up. And back over to the right. Trying to keep the movement nice and fluid. We build space in our body. Even though today's class is quite a strong class, we want to make sure that we're keeping that connection the whole time with our breath. It'll help us to go a little bit deeper, a little bit stronger into the pose. And last one, over to the right. Lovely, and we'll come back up through center. Just going to begin with some shoulder shrugs to the forward. So begin to shrug the shoulders up to the ears and dropping them down, just rolling through the shoulders. You can close your eyes to keep your awareness on your breath. Just finding nice movement, feeling out any knots, any tight areas, any tension. And taking it to the opposite direction, rolling the shoulders to the back. We're going to spend a bit of time in plank today, so we just want to make sure that our shoulders are nice and warm. Noticing where those knots are, just really feeling into the body. And gently release, now working into the wrists. We're going to begin to extend the left arm forward. We're using the right hand to begin to draw the fingertips back towards your face, where you press firmly into the right heel, into the left heel even. Pressing firmly, drawing those fingers back. Feeling a nice stretch right from the shoulder down to the fingertips. Just finding some length and movement, warming up the wrist. Flip the palm, fingers point down, bring the right hand and press once again into the wrist. A nice stretch on the opposite side. And release, move to the next side. Begin to draw the right fingertips back towards your face as you press into the right heel. Find that nice length, feeling that stretch right from the shoulder down to the fingertips. And flip the palm, reverse, pressing into the wrist. Holding for another breath. And gently release. Shake out the wrists just for a moment. I'm going to do a little bit more work into the shoulders, down the spine, into the wrists. Just making sure that the body's nice and warm. We take it any deeper today. Interlace the fingers, press the palms away from you. We're going to flow through some seated cat-cow, but with the hands as they are. So as we inhale, we begin to draw the palms up towards the sky. So the arms come in line with the ears. Maybe you can begin to look up. Deep inhale, feeling a nice arch of the spine as we stretch through the front of the body. And as you exhale, we begin to round the spine, palms face forward. Lower belly hugs in and the gaze drops down towards the mat. Inhale, reaching up, stretching to the side of the body. Knees are heavy. Exhale, round. Lovely. Do that 3 more times. Inhale, reaching up. And exhale, rounding. Inhale. Exhale. Last one. Inhale, pressing into the palms of the hands. And exhale. Lovely. And we can release. From here, we'll make our way to tabletop, over to hands and knees. We want to make sure that we're nicely set up here so that our knees are in line under our hips and that our wrists are in line under our shoulders. Spread your fingertips really wide, really wide. So you want to make sure that we're not collapsing into the wrist. So just bend the fingers, just to come up onto the fingertips for a moment, just to feel the difference. You'll notice straight away all the weight going straight into the wrists. Now, spread the fingertips, plant the hands. See the difference that makes straight away. You're taking the weight out of the wrists. We're going to spend a bit of time in plank and down dog. So we want to make sure that we're protecting our joints. Tuck the toes under. We're going to begin by hovering the knees off the mat, just an inch or two, just to begin to really wake up the core. This is our first core building pose. So when you're ready, inhale, exhale, hover the knees off the mat. Make sure you're tucking your tailbone under. We're not collapsing into the lower spine. Holding. Stay with your breath. This is quite challenging. Just see if you can hold it. Lovely. And then after the next exhale, press the hips towards the back of the room. Coming into our first downward facing dog of the day. Keep the knees nice and deeply bent. We're going to float our body from here into plank, bringing our shoulders in line over our wrists. So as you inhale, begin to ripple the spine forward. Coming into plank, shoulders over wrists, pressing into the heels, tuck the tailbone under. We're pressing up out of the hands. So our core is nice and engaged, nice and warming up. You should also feel the glutes fired up. And then as you exhale, coming back to down dog, while we bend the knees and we send the hips back, looking towards the legs. Keep the knees deeply bent. As you inhale, you ripple the spine forward into plank. Hold for a breath and exhale. Coming back to down dog. We'll do 5 of those. Inhale, ripple forward. Hold for a breath. And exhale, down dog. Begin to move with your own breath to whatever pace suits you. Just making sure that you're feeling nice and engaged. So we're keeping the core activated, keeping nice strong shoulders. Noticing the changes in your body while we stretch out, building strength through the shoulders to the arms. And then when you're in your last one, we're all going to meet in our downward facing dog. Taking your breath in our down dog, maybe paddling out the legs, dropping into one heel at a time. Lovely, we're going to come forward now, back into plank once again. Now, if you need to drop down onto your knees at any time, absolutely do. Take a break where you need to. Pressing back through the heels, we're just going to begin by lifting the left leg off the mat. We're going to hold for a few breaths. Some nice strong arms, strong legs, strong core. The whole body is really working and firing up here. And release. Pick up the right leg. And straight into it now. Feeling the body might begin to shake. Stay with your breath. For 3, 2, and 1. Lovely. Release. Everybody drop the knees down onto the mat if they're not there already. Loop the shoulder blades back so your elbow creases are pointing forward towards the front of the room. We're going to begin to lower down. Chin, chest, then belly. Lean down flat on the mat. Elbows stay tucked nice and in. And we'll come up into baby cobra. So as you inhale, you begin to peel the forehead and the tops of the shoulders away from the mat. Tuck the tailbone under. So pressing your pelvic bone into the mat. Not looking too far forward or dropping the head. Keeping a nice long spine. Exhale, release. See if we can go a little bit deeper into our cobra. Inhale, begin to lift off the mat. Engage through the glutes. Lengthen the front side of the body. Stretching into the belly. Strengthening those muscles. And softly release. Lovely. You can rest your arms down, maybe rest onto one ear. And just allow yourself to soften for a moment. Reconnecting with your breath. And make your way back up. So we're going to bring the body into sphinx pose. Just to begin with, we're going to be coming into our forearm plank. We're going to push ourselves, bring ourselves up from here. So you can bring your arms to wherever feels right. So you can keep them, palms planting down, or palms together touching into prayer, or interlace the fingers, just a little bit stronger. So wherever feels right for you, begin to tuck the toes under. Make sure that your elbows are in line under your shoulders. And when we come up into this pose, we want our core to be fully engaged. So we're not bringing up and lowering through the lower back. We want to support ourselves by retucking the tailbone under and engaging, squeezing through the muscles in the bum into the glutes. So tuck the toes under, inhale, exhale, begin to lift up into our forearm plank. Pressing the weight back into the heels, pressing up, using the arms to support you, tucking the tailbone under. Nice long line of energy down through the body. And we're going to rock forward and back 10 times. Just begin to gently rock. It'll only feel like a slight movement, but you will feel this into the core. It's a great core building pose. One of my favorites. 5, 4, 3, 2, last one. And release the legs back down, open the arms up. Coming into Sphinx. Lovely, well done. Very strong movement for the core, but really feels fantastic, works really, really deep. Just allow the body to open up, lengthen, stretch out the muscles of the belly. If you want here, you could always drop the head, make it a little bit more restorative. And soften the glutes, soften the legs. Brilliant. Just gently begin to lower the body down. Bring the hands beside you and slowly press yourself back up into tabletop, back to hands and knees. Wrists back in line under your shoulders and your knees are in line under your hips. Begin to extend the right arm away from you. Make sure that you find your stability. If you need to move around a little bit more, we're going to be extending through opposite arm, opposite leg. So make sure that you feel a nice stable core. Extend through the right arm. Begin to extend the left leg away from you. Make sure you're not flaring the ribs. You're keeping them nice and tucked under, even if that means the leg needs to drop lower. Perfectly fine. We're working on building our core, not extending and opening up, but building a nice, strong, stable base. Pressing into the heel of the left foot, extending and reaching through the arms. Stay with your breath. Keeping a nice, strong core. And release the arm and the leg. I'm going to move straight away into the next side. Begin to extend the right leg away from you. Extend the left arm. Reaching, making sure we're not collapsing into the lower back. Feeling the body fire up. You might feel a little bit shaky here. If you do, that's good. That's the energy flowing to your body. Stay with it. Another breath. And brilliant. Release the arm and the leg and cross through the ankles and sit back through the heels, extending the legs out in front of you. So we're going to extend our right leg away from us, out long on the mat, over towards the side. So it's not straight out, but it's pointing over towards the right side of the mat. Bring the left foot, so the sole of the left foot is nestled to the inside of the right leg. We're going to lengthen through the spine and begin to twist from the belly. So our gaze is looking over our right toes. Begin to inhale, find length through the spine. So we exhale, we fold forward over that right leg. Peeling the toes back towards the face, getting a really deep stretch into the hamstring, stretching to the back of the body, finding length through the muscles. You can just allow the head to be a little bit heavy here as we try and reach more forward. So we're not trying to bring our head down to our leg. If you can, wonderful, brilliant, go deeper. One more, just trying to find a little bit of length, that stretch through the full back body. Right from the heel and up through the spine. Last breath. And gently release, walk the hands back in towards the body. I'm going to stretch out the front now before we move into the next pose. So we're going to plant our left hand behind the sitting bone. And we're going to begin to extend through the arm, reaching it up and overhead while we lift our hips. Sounds a bit tricky, so if you want to watch me for the first one, and then you can join me after we go to the first one. Inhale, begin to reach the arm, lift the hips, fingertips point back, so we're opening to the full front of the body. And then we gently release, arm comes forward, coming back up. Inhale, reaching up, pressing the hips high, squeezing through the glutes. And exhale, lower. 2 more. Inhale, reaching up, looking up. Lovely. Release. Last one. Inhale, reach up. And exhale, release down. Brilliant. Swap legs. Bring the right leg in, extend the left leg out. sit up nice and tall. Draw the right leg in. So the sole of the right foot is nestled into the inside of the left leg. Lift and lengthen and then twist and begin to look over to the left foot. So we're not sitting tall and then just looking towards the left, but we're twisting from the belly. So we're finding a nice twist here, a nice stretch through the core. Look towards the toes, lift and lengthen. Exhale, fold, drop the arms and breathe. Just where you feel a stretch, a bit of a release, not too deep. If you need to bring the head down to the knee, down to the shin, absolutely do. And gently begin to look towards the toes, walk the hands back in towards the body, bring yourself back up. We're going to bring our right hand this time to plant behind the right hip. And inhale, sweep the arm up and overhead. Open through the chest, open through the front body, stretching into the belly. Exhale, release. Inhale, lift and open. Exhale, release. Inhale, last one, lift and open. See if you can go even deeper, even further. Lift the hips a little bit higher. And exhale, release. Brilliant. Bring the legs both out in front of you and just shake through the legs. Bring the feet back in, resting one foot in front of the other or crossing at the ankles, and just notice which leg is in front of the other one. We're just going to switch it up. So bring the opposite leg than the one you would usually do. Normally when we're going into poses, we'll always naturally go into one or the other way. I'm just going to try and switch it up today. Just for a little bit of change. Inhale as we lift and lengthen through the body. Exhale, we begin to walk the arms out in front of us and fold down. And maybe you need to stay high up on the hands or drop down to the forearms, or maybe you can come down and rest the forehead down towards the mat. Maybe on a block or a pillow. Maybe resting the forehead onto the hands. And wherever you are, just trying to keep your awareness on the hips. Trying to keep the sitting bones connected with the mat. And you can soften the body here. You can soften through the legs. Allowing the muscles in the back release and melt. As you soften the arms and the forehead. And come into your last breath. Gently look forward towards the top of the mat and walk yourself back in. And coming back to where we started the class in a comfortable cross-legged seat, but this time the hands are resting down on top of the knees. You want to find a nice sense of grounding by resting the hands down. Peel the shoulder blades up towards your ears, rolling them back and dropping them down your spine. Close your eyes. Notice how everything feels. How's the body feeling now? How does your breath flow through the body as you notice the pace? Just beginning to become aware and connect to what you've cultivated through our class. And just let that resonate inside of you. Beginning to slow down the breath as you begin to soften the muscles, allowing the knees to become heavy, the arms to drop a little bit heavier, allowing the muscles in the forehead to soften and smooth, and the jaw to relax and release. Just taking this moment in complete stillness and silence. And thank you very much for joining me for our class today. I do hope you enjoyed it. I look forward to seeing you again very soon. Namaste.